Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so it's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about in the NBA circuit. I did a lot of homework in the wee hours of the morning last night. It was like 2 a.m. to like 5 a.m. and I'm watching basketball prospects. Yeah, man, I know I don't have a life, but um, this is what I was paying attention to. Was a few players in that second round area um, that I watched footage on and was somewhat impressed with some of those guys. So we can talk about a few of them, and I've updated my thoughts on a few guys. Did a little more homework on a few other guys, that kind of thing. So I get into those second round prospects first. First of all, Mark Sears looked pretty good to me. Mark Sears, smaller guy out of Alabama, but a real good catch and shoot player. He really reminds me of Eddie House. Kind of reminds me of Derek Fisher in a way on the offensive end. Just catch from behind the arc, shoot straight away, corner threes, put the ball on the floor. Not too athletic, kind of a small guy, lay the ball up, that kind of thing. He's that kind of archetype, but just seemed to be very, very talented in a catch and shoot situation. Can put the ball on the floor some, create for others a little bit. But really a floor spacer, man, a real floor spacer. So I was pretty impressed with Mark Sears. I enjoyed watching about 7 or 8 minutes of his highlights, and no commentary on him was provided, but he was a hell of a player to do homework on, and I think he should be drafted. Probably middle second round. I don't think he'll be available for my Lakers at like 55 or 56. I don't expect he'll be available. But if he is available, I think he'd be a damn good guard coming off the bench over the next several years to just more or less catch and shoot and just really provide a lot of spacing, especially with non-spacing lineups and stuff like that. Lineups with Vanderbilt and stuff like that. You need a guy that can shoot. And given the fact that this draft class doesn't have a whole lot of shooters, I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Sears' stock starts to rise just off the strength of what he can do. He's a little smaller guy. I don't know that he can do some things defensively because it didn't show us any defensive highlights or any commentary. So defensively, I am clueless. He could be the best defender in the world or the worst. I have no idea. But offensively, he seems about as reliable as anybody I've seen in that second round. It's stretching the floor consistently. So I like what I saw from Mark Sears. Good speed on him, nice pace that he plays with. I think he's going to be a nice player. Cam Jones was a guy that I saw some footage on. About 12 minutes from floor and ceiling, a guy I like to watch a lot for this draft stuff. Cam Jones, I think what stood out for Cam Jones is his passing ability. I think that's where his greatest strength comes. He's kind of average in a lot of areas. Good size. I think he's like a I guess he's like 6'6", 6'7", small forward kind of dude. He doesn't turn the ball over, even though there was a lot of commentary in the negative side about his handle, that he needs to shore up his handle a little bit. But he doesn't turn the ball over, which is a really good sign, and he's a good connective piece. He makes plays for other people. Can score a little bit. His three-point shot's pretty solid. His defensive stance and things like that seems pretty solid. He's an average player, role player for certain. But when you talk about needing two-way guys, when you talk about needing people who can space the floor, when you talk about people who can make other people better and be a good connective piece to whatever system you have, I think Cam Jones is going to carve out an opportunity to play in the NBA. He may be an overseas guy overall, maybe a G League guy overall, but he seems to have a good head on his shoulders as it pertains to being on the court and doing things that help his team win. And I think overall, if you're looking for an average player in the second round that may be available at 56, Cam Jones, you can do a lot worse than Cam Jones, I believe. In the undrafted market, I think he'd be a good guy to bring in, put on a two-way, and see if he can help your team. So I like what I saw from Cam Jones. I didn't love it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was overly blown away, but he looks like somebody who's sturdy. Pretty good floor as it pertains to a prospect that you want to bring in the second round. Very good floor. Ceiling may not be that high, but the floor, pretty damn sturdy. So I like what I saw from Cam Jones. And I think he'll make a team early on. Who else did I pay attention to? Okay, and the other person I paid attention to in the second round, this is my favorite of the three players, Miles Bird. Miles Bird is a nice wing, kind of a go-to guy in San Diego State. 6'7", 190, pretty good size on him. What I was impressed with Miles Bird is he blocks shots. With his length, as a 2 guard, 3 guard, he blocks shots. I think about um, different players like Dwayne Wade, although not on that level, obviously. But you think about 2 guards and 3 guards that block shots. Who's a guy we had? Can't remember his name right now, but he blocked shots consistently. In the championship he played for us, he actually was a dude that missed the shot wearing the Kobe jerseys in Game 5, so we ended up not winning the championship in the Game 5 situation with the Kobe jerseys on. I never forgave him for that. I can't think of his name, but you all know who I'm talking about. He played for the Spurs, won a championship, went to Toronto, won a championship, came back here after that and won a 3rd championship. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He reminds me of him a little bit, Miles Bird. I don't know if he plays defense quite like him, but that dude was known for blocking shots at the 2 guard spot. I think Miles Bird is the same way. That weak side blocks gift that he has is something that stands out and is a real solid go-to attribute for a player like him. Now that's what I look for a lot of times with my guards. Can my guards rebound? Can my guards be feisty in weak side situations when nobody expects them to explode and block a damn shot? Because if you can do that, and then you can space the floor, put the ball on the floor a little bit and all this other stuff, you become ridiculously valuable to your team. And when you talk about needing 2-way guys, Miles Bird is, I think, somebody who's going to be a nice sleeper in this draft as a very, very worthy 2nd-round 2-way prospect. I definitely think he's a pro, and he's used to being the go-to guy. Now, sometimes guys are used to being the go-to guy, and it doesn't translate well to be in the NBA. When they don't get as many shots, they don't get as much opportunities, it can tend to take away their confidence and ultimately have them driving in the wrong direction. But Miles Bird, I think, based on what I saw, the length, the speed, the overall offensive feel, he has a nice mid-range game from the elbow that they were constantly showing us. This looks like a nice wing, man. A nice wing. I think he's going to probably play better than he's expected to play in the if he goes in the 2nd round, that's great value, I think, for what it is he brings to the table. And when I think about the depth of this draft, he's one of the names that come up for me when I consider how deep this draft is. You can probably find him at the 45, almost 50 range. He probably ain't going to be available for the Lakers in the end at 56. Once again, we're a little too far back in the draft to really get anything that I think is great that I've seen. But the more I learn about these 2nd-round prospects, the more excited I feel about the Lakers maybe being able to find somebody. But Miles Bird is somebody you trade up for if you're the LA Lakers. If you can get a 35 or something like that, if you can get in that 35 to 40 range, I believe that Miles Bird may be available. Because there are a lot of guys in that 2nd round that people are extremely excited about. He's probably going to fall into that range that I just said and help a team tremendously. I don't know how soon he could help. I'm not sure if he's a one and done. Probably most players are in this draft. But Miles Bird was my favorite of the 3 2nd-round prospects that I saw last night. And there's still a lot of them that I'm interested in, man. A lot of guys that I've, in watching draft boards, people, just kind of give us their favorite 60 players. It's been some guys that I haven't done my own homework on that I saw glimpses of in those situations and am extremely excited about. And people I've heard being spoken of that also need to be kind of worked out. So 15 days away from the NBA draft, I believe we are right now. And so I got a lot of homework to do, but judging by how I've been able to kind of scrape together opportunities, I think I'll know who everybody is that I need to know well enough to kind of be able to tell you who all the sleepers are. But there's a few names that I've been hearing a lot about that I want to talk about here that I haven't done homework on. Johnny Broome. Seen slight highlights on him, but haven't clicked on his name on any YouTube videos yet. I need to do homework on Johnny Broome. I heard great things about him. 6'10" Auburn Tiger. He's gotten some comparisons to Markieff Morris in his, early on. Markieff, that's somebody I need to do more homework on. Johnny Broome is somebody I think expect to go in the 2nd round, but because they have so many people that are shooting up and different fluctuations in what people believe they need, I think Johnny Broome may be available and maybe go in the 1st round. And I think that's a possibility. Joanne Behringer is somebody I think I did homework on but wasn't paying enough attention to, but he has attributes that tend to make it in this NBA. Center, shot blocker, can kind of do some things on the offensive end. You definitely want to know about him. He could go in the 1st round as well. Joanne Behringer, 6'10", out of France. Who else? Micah Peavy. I've heard great things about Micah Peavy. It seems like a lot of people are excited about him. 6'8", small forward, shooting guard. I think he's one of those dudes that could potentially go early in the second round. Micah Peavy. I don't think he's gonna be around for too long. And so yeah, I want to mention his name. And then Jamir Watkins. I got to do homework on Jamir Watkins. The little that I've seen from him makes him one of my favorite players in this draft, and I still haven't looked up his name to really zero in on what he does. But from the eye test, he's one of them dudes that you need to play. If people are going to take him in the second round, it'd probably be a mistake because he's going to end up being a first-round talent when it's all said and done. Jamir Watkins, if he turns into something, it won't surprise me because he has two-way ability, tends to be speedy. I think of a guy like Jamal Sheed last year that was taken in the second round and clearly was a helpful piece in Toronto and has a very bright future. He's like that. Like it wouldn't be bad at all for somebody to take him at the end. Like the Clippers at 30, it wouldn't be a bad idea for the Clippers to take Jamir Watkins. It wouldn't be, because his floor is extremely high as it pertains to what you expect of him versus what it is I think he's going to do. Floor is high. Defensive player, offensive player. He doesn't really stretch the floor. That's why his value's low for the most part. But I mean, the speed, the overall feel, he's got some defensive stuff that just can't be taught. So I'm big on Jamir Watkins based on the little I saw. The length is there, 6'7", small forward shooting guard combination. You definitely want to put him on a list of people you need to pay attention to. And who else? Who else I've been hearing about, man? Been hearing a whole lot about Zion James. I haven't done any homework on him, but I know of his name. Played for the Blue Devils, 6'6", shooting guard. I've heard good things. Who else, man? There's some other names. Yaxel Lundenberg. I think I did see a little highlights on him, power forward guy, but I need to do more to get more familiar. Ryan Kalkbrenner. I've heard great things about his defense. I think he won like a bunch of defensive player of the years in a row or something like that. 7'1", long arms, shot blocker. Definitely somebody that we need to know about. And yeah, man, I did do homework on Ben Saraf. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name correctly. I think it's Saraf. But I watched like a 30-minute video on him and never got back to you guys. But he seems like a nice point guard. He's 6'6", shooting guard guy. Handles pretty strong, kind of average athleticism. But he's one of them dudes that's going to get other people involved. So if you have the type of team that tends to be stagnant with your assist category as a team, or if you have a guy that needs to be fed, like your Dallas or somebody, and you don't get that piece with your first overall pick, since obviously you're going to not literally. If I'm Dallas, I'm trying to get into the end of the first round, and I'm going to try to get a guy like Ben Saraf to just be a connective piece to make sure that I get my guys fed. And that's something I think Dallas specifically really needs to address, because Kyrie's going to be out for half of the season. You're going to be picking up Cooper Flag. You got Anthony Davis. You got all these centers. You need somebody who's going to get other people involved. And I don't know where you're going to get that piece in free agency. Maybe you have to settle for somebody that you probably don't really want on the floor that much any damn way. That could be kind of a thing. And so if I'm them, I am going to get me another pick, and I'm going to draft somebody who can do that. And there are a few of them, man. Let's see. There was another name that came to mind in the first round. Give me just a second. Where's the guy? Igor Demon. He could probably go in the... He's a guy who can go anywhere between the lottery and all the way at the end of the first round. If I'm Dallas, I need to try to acquire Igor Demon, because he's going to make plays. He's one of the best passers in the draft. Ben Saraf, obviously, as I mentioned already. Nolan Traore, another guy that Dallas needs to value. You know, and if you can't get him in the first round, maybe in the second round, you might be able to get that piece. Mark Sears. I'm not really sure if he makes plays like that. I don't really know. But the point that I'm trying to make is a team like Dallas specifically must address that on their team. They must, especially if they're going to be picking up Cooper Flag. Although he can make plays for others, at the end of the day, he's a player who would be best for finishing plays. And if you don't have that piece that's getting everybody involved, a guy who can average over 7 assists, your offense is going to be extremely stagnant, and that is unacceptable when you're picking up this player and you got Anthony also down there. So that's what I would say to Dallas, just specifically. It's your job to get a passer, and I think that the best one that I could get reasonably, affordably, if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, is trying to trade into that range that that this young guy, either Nolan Traore or Ben Seraph, preferably, or Igor Dimin, one of those three players. I'm trying to get another first round pick, maybe try to trade with the Spurs or something if I'm Dallas. I must address that, because if I don't, my offense is going to be terrible. Even with all these great bigs and great players that are coming in, there's still going to be times when we have stagnant offense and guys trying to do me ball stuff. So any of these teams that have the me ball problem, Dallas is the one that comes to mind, but they must address that. They must. And so that's what I want to say, man. Yeah, I think there's going to be some trades coming, man. I think it's going to be some trades coming. So just want to put that out there. Also, I did homework on Rasheer Fleming. More homework. I had done some. And I think the issue with Rasheer Fleming, despite all of his abilities, 6'9", 7 foot plus wingspan, catch and shoot, good stuff. He really does shoot the ball well from behind the arc. I think he shot like 39% in college last year. Problem with him is he's a nightmare putting the ball on the floor. If he's driving at the rim, it's an absolute nightmare. Like he really needs a lot of work putting the ball on the floor and finishing on a drive, and creating for himself. Not really good. Can't really pass. Not really good at that. So there are some very serious limitations to his offensive game that cater to some really iffy fits in certain situations. He doesn't shoot the three. He can't put the ball on the floor, and he doesn't particularly have good floor vision. So this is a little bit of a problem. I wouldn't put him in every situation. So he's falling down my draft board a bit. There's some guys in the second round that I kind of like a little more than Rasheer Fleming. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to fall out of the first round necessarily, but for me, I probably can think of about 30 guys I feel more comfortable with than him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he falls out. His metrics and his speed, his defensive ability, his catch and shoot ability cannot be denied. But he plays with a herky-jerky kind of rhythm. I think a lot of it has to do with this, just him being a young guy. But he tends to play at a different speed than a lot of people, and I think he's going to have to slow down some based on what I saw. I'm just not really high on Rasheer Fleming, despite him having a lot of things about him that you like. He's powerful, long arms, explosive. There's a lot of things that you do like. But when it comes to an NBA floor, he has some key weaknesses that should not be together. That's really what it comes down to. He has some key weaknesses that almost makes it so he's almost unplayable right now. And so that's my concern with Rasheer Fleming. The eye test will tell you he should be on the team, but I think there are some. He's an undersized 5 at 6'9", or a 4 that can't stretch the floor nor put the ball on the floor nor help with ball movement. So it's a lot wrong there, and I got a feeling that other people are going to see it that way too. He's a good prospect, but you're going to have to work with him. And so that's really what it is. He's going to have to go through a lot of drills to get better. I wouldn't be upset if he stayed in school for another year or two. That's what I think about Rasheer Fleming after doing homework on him. And now another guy that I did homework on, finally I thought I had done homework on until I actually saw footage and realized I hadn't done homework on him, and that was Colin Murray Boyles, CMB. I love CMB. He's flying up my draft board right now, man. I could see him going as early as 7. I truly can. He is a defensive player of the highest order, probably the best defensive player in this draft. Kind of reminds me of Draymond Green. Kind of reminds me of Ryan, what's his name? That went to the Phoenix Suns last year. Is his name Ryan? I can't think of the young fella's name. But the guy that went to the Phoenix Suns last year, the excellent defensive player. Colin Murray Boyles kind of reminds me of a little better version than him. So yeah, that's what he is. He's like a Draymond clone, 6'7", fantastic laterally, can make passes, finishes at the rim extremely well, rebounds the ball pretty well. He's just another Draymond. He's Draymond all over again. A little shorter than Dre, but extremely long arms, connective piece. Can't shoot the rock, but can hit him here and there just like Draymond. He's Draymond. And so I don't think he falls past 15, to be honest with you. I was really, really enamored with what I saw from Colin Murray Boyles. He is going to be a defensive player of the year candidate somewhere down the road, in my opinion, if he gets enough opportunities. And I think he'll be able to stay on the floor offensively because he's such a efficient scorer of the basketball finishing around the rim. So you can keep spamming him the ball. You're going to keep dunking it, keep on laying it up. Hook shots, stuff like that. He's going to make more than he misses. He's going to be a connective piece, making plays for other people. And then on the defensive end, he's going to be the best defender on the floor. So I think a team like Utah at 5 may actually look at him, especially since you're a team. If you're Utah, the problem that you really have is that your defense is non-existent. You do have that big guy in the paint blocking shots, but the rest of your players don't defend. So you want a defensive anchor in the paint. I know the Utah Jazz, a lot is being said about them taking Trey Johnson. I don't know if Trey Johnson defensively as a wing, he looks more of a, I know more about him on the offensive end, scoring the ball, being a efficient shooter and efficient scorer, and just in many different ways, expert jump shooter, which can be very valuable. But I think for the Utah Jazz, you already got your guard spot solidified with young players on rookie contracts. What you need is defenders. What you need is a defensive anchor. And I don't know that I would want to take him at 5 if I'm Utah, but I also don't think I'm ever going to win anything until I address that in multiple positions. They don't have it. That's the problem. When you talk about the things that the Utah Jazz don't have, they don't have anybody playing any damn defense outside of their shot blocker, and he's limited in some ways. So it's like, are you going to keep on doubling down on your offense and continue to score 150 and still give up 160 and lose? Or are you going to get yourself that premier defensive anchor that's going to drive your team into being able to help yourself on that end as well? And so that if I'm the Utah Jazz, I don't know if I'm trading down. Trey Johnson may just be a little too good in a lot of people's eyes to get away from. And he may be a very good defensive player for his position. But there's no way in hell I'm not drafting a defensive player at number 5 if I'm the Utah Jazz. If it ain't Kamen Malawach, who I probably don't need because of the presence of that center, then it's probably Colin Murray-Boyles or Carter Bryant. And it's a little too, 5 may be a little too high for both of those guys. But, the players that they have in their range, if VJ doesn't drop, they don't have defenders in that range. Jeremiah Fears ain't a defender. Con Knipple, Derek Queen is not a defender. Maybe you reach for a Noah Singay, but he's somebody you got to wait on a little more. Maybe that's good for Utah. Who knows? But the point is, there are some real key, game-changing defenders available to you just past your range at like 9 and 10. Kamen Malawach, Colin Murray-Boyles can go anywhere between 10 and 20. But if I'm Utah, I want my hands on one of these defenders, man. Or maybe Cedric Coward can help me defensively. Drake Powell, Noah Pendas, a little further back, but those are guys I'm super high on in this draft. They can help you on both sides of the floor. That's the type of thing I need to do if I'm the Jazz. I'm not interested in getting more offensive guards and all different types of stuff. Like, they got so many guards on that team, man. Utah absolutely does not need another guard. I just want to put that out there. They absolutely do not need another guard. Everybody's giving them Trey Johnson, but they don't need Trey Johnson. What they need is Colin Murray-Boyles or likely Carter Bryant, if I'm being completely honest with you. So we'll see if the Utah Jazz see it my way, or they just going to keep doubling down on all these damn guards and none of them get a chance to play enough, to do enough, to show enough. I mean, it's just, if you have an extreme weakness and you got a lottery pick in this draft, it's time to address that weakness. And Utah's a team to come to mind when I think of that. So that's what I have to say about that, man. Those are the players that I've done homework on as of late. I still got some more footage to watch on other players. Some more stuff just dropped from my favorite draft people to follow. I want to do more homework on Jace Richardson. I want to do more homework on Danny Wolf. I need to do more homework on Jeremiah Fears, I think. Derek Queen, I still kind of like skate around him. Think I understand him, but not really. I never did any homework on Cooper Flagg. I know the least about him as it pertains to the details of his game, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've been focused on everybody but him. And then, like I said, there's some other names. Walter Clayton Jr. is a guy whose name's flying at the draft board. Probably should know about him a little more. Yeah, man. But like Micah Peavy and these people, I'm really interested in. Jameer Watkins, Micah Peavy. These guys, they fly off the screen. Hunter Salas is somebody I have yet to do homework on. He's also heard his name a lot. So yeah, man, this is what we're doing. This is what we're talking about. Just trying to focus in on the draft. For what it's worth, having nothing to do with the draft, from what I understand, Kevin Durant and San Antonio is pretty much done. They're probably going to announce it before the draft, but I think they already seen the jersey. They like literally already have his jersey made. So I think that's done. We didn't talk about that on this channel, but Kevin Durant to San Antonio, from what I'm hearing, is all but done. So yeah, that's something to know. And yeah, man, I'm hearing a lot of rumors. Teams may be ready to make a move. I think Orlando may be ready to move Cole Anderson. That's somebody I'm interested in. If I'm the Lakers, if I'm Dallas, if I need a point guard, Cole Anthony is immediately gonna shoot up as it pertains to his value. It's inevitable. He just needs opportunities. Every time Orlando allows him to play, he plays like an all-star, but most of the time he's in a logjam of guards. So, and it looks like Orlando may actually draft another guard with their pick, which I don't think they should do. But yeah, they're probably going to move on from Cole Anderson. He needs to land somewhere that he can get an opportunity to either be the first guy off the bench or even a starter. He might be a little too short to start, but he's going to outplay a lot of people whenever he gets wherever he's going. I can tell you that right now. So I'd love to have Cole Anthony as my sixth man. I think that makes a lot of sense. Cleveland Cavaliers, from what I understand, are interested in maybe moving around some players. Of course, they got a little monkey wrench in that because Darius Garland is now going to be out for 5 months. Now, you can erase about 4 months of the offseason here. So that's like a month of the regular season plus going into it. So he'll probably be back by early December, I'd say. But that could get in the way of them trading him potentially. And I think they may be wanting to move him. And Jared Allen may be on the move. I saw somebody say the Lakers could trade Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect and like a second-round pick or whatever for Jared Allen. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As a Laker fan, hell no, bro. Are you crazy? I like Jared Allen, but he has shown me that he ain't really a playoff performer. And Austin Reeves continues to ascend every year in value. So whatever Austin's worth right now, he's going to be worth even more at the trade deadline and probably even more at the end of the season because he just keeps getting better. So I'm not trading him at this value. I can trust that he's going to stay healthy in theory because he's been healthy for the most part. Played 82 games the year before last. So I'm not interested in moving Austin Reeves for somebody that I don't think his value is going up. I'm not doing that. Austin Reeves is a player who's likely going to be an all-star if we send him to the right spot, and I am not interested in that. I don't think that Luka and LeBron should necessarily be playing together. I've already mentioned that, and I do think trading him for pieces that can help maybe make more sense to our roster may be something that makes some sense. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to be moving Austin Reeves, the value on Austin Reeves is a lot higher than me adding Dalton Connect and a pick to bring back freaking Jared Allen. Hell no. That's an emphatic hard no. No, thank you. I could totally see us getting through the offseason without trading Austin Reeves because if the Lakers are thinking like that, I'm thinking like that, then I don't see the Lakers making a move like that. I don't see it. And he's on a fantastic contract on top of that. So a lot of the stuff that we think is worth Austin Reeves, we can't move Austin Reeves for because most of the players who are as good as him is making twice as much as him. So I'm not moving him. Yeah, I'm just not going to move him. Plus, I don't know what's going to happen with LeBron, dude. LeBron's going to be 41 this upcoming season. Is he making it through the season? And if not, does it not make sense for me to have Austin on the team? Because if LeBron goes down, Luka going to be out there by himself. And I don't like the sound of that. Or if Luka goes down, LeBron's out there by himself. I just feel a lot better the more I think about it, having Austin Reeves or whatever the equivalent would be on the floor. And you need multiple ball handlers. We know that. If anything, Austin's one of the better players in the league today going forward. If he keeps on ascending the way he's been playing, he's going to be a top 40 player next year. So I think he's top 40 already. So I'm not looking to move him on a great contract for freaking Jared Allen, who halfway don't make it through the damn season, and when he does, when he gets to the playoffs, he disappears. I'm cool. I need shot blocking, but not at the expense of literally one of the best improving players in basketball. So no, I'm not moving Austin Reeves. The finger to you, Cleveland, you will not be getting Austin Reeves. So that's what I want to say about that. I don't know what Dallas is going to do with their center position, but they do have a million centers at this point, so we could use one of them. Just want to put that out there. Also, if I'm trading Austin Reeves, if I'm the Lakers, just to put this out there, if I'm trading Austin Reeves, I want back draft equity. I don't have any desire to move Austin on the contract that he's on, as good as he's becoming, without bringing back a first or multiple seconds and salary matches. Because as I said, most of the players as good as Austin are on double the contract. So I'm likely bringing back something worse than Austin if I'm trading Austin. So you're going to make up for that by giving me a first or two. if I want to run the price up. So that's how I feel about Austin Reaves at this point. I'm not only taking into account what he just showed me, I'm taking into account what he's been showing me and what I expect he's going to show me because of it. He's going to get better. He's going to make an all-star team, and we're going to look like fools for moving him for freaking Jared Allen or something. Anything less than something souped up on the trade market. So that's what I'm talking about, man. I'm pricing Austin way too high, and I don't care if I don't move him. And that's exactly how I'm posturing. So that's what I want to say. But yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff to say out there. But that's what I have on my mind. I'll leave it at that. I appreciate everybody for watching BDF 44. I'm out.